little sister, what have you done? Hey, little sister, who's the only one? Hey, little sister, who's your Superman? Hey, little sister, who's the one you want? Hey, little sister, shotgun. It's a nice day to start again. It's a nice day for a Nazi wedding. Hey, it's a nice day to Dukey, can we start again? Nazi wedding, what is that? I don't understand why you'd want Nazis at your wedding. When me and Roy got married, we didn't have no Nazis at our wedding. That's it. I'm disgusted. It's the disgust.
Marshall McDonald.
Yeah, hey, peeps.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's the Dukey Radio Show.
I cannot believe it's already New Year's once again.
Yeah.
A bit of dodgy wordplay there, if I do say so myself. Akin to Chelsea Handler's Uganda Be Kidding Me tour a couple of years back.
Yeah, it's a strain.
It is a strain.
I'm not gonna lie to you, Dukey.
It's a stretch.
I like that Chelsea.
Stretch.
I like that Chelsea Handler show. That was good.
That was excellent. Very, very, very good. The
She was
first
very
and
funny.
only time that I've seen her live, and that was here in London's West End.
I liked her multimedia.
Yes, very good.
Yes, it was very good.
And she was supported by the wonderful Canadian comedian based in UK, Catherine Ryan, who we are also fans of here at the Dukey Radio Show.
She was an unknown at that time.
Yes.
And now her career has gone stratospheric.
Yes. Stellar.
Stellar.
Yes.
Dukey. It's been way too long.
It has been a while.
Why has it been too long, Dukey?
We've been around the UK and everywhere. I've been spending every waking hour in many a different studio with many kinds of different musicians, and it has been too long.
You've been learning lots of songs.
I've been learning lots of tracks, lots of songs, many a ditty I've been learning.
For your karaoke.
Yes, I've been involved with a new project called Democratic Punk Rock Karaoke, or karaoke, which, yes, that there is a North Korean reference there with the abbreviation of said name. And basically
I just got that.
Oh, right. We have a lot of Korean fans, is all I can
yes.
say. And Trump doesn't seem to like us very much.
That can only be a good thing, though.
But basically, the shorthand of it all is we are a backing band doing songs from the punk, new wave, indie, and Britpop areas of music, fields of music, genres of music, and random people will come up and sing those songs.
Dukey, was
we
a good
play,
sign.
they sing. Yes,
it was a good sign.
Yeah, we did our
I'm not gonna lie.
second outing at the weekend, and Marsha and Sylvia, you both came along. It was very nice. Thank you for your support.
Dukey, I haven't been in a bowling alley in this country ever.
Yes, the performance took place at Bloomsbury Bowling Lanes in the heart of the West End.
It was very posh.
Very nice, yes.
Because I've spent a lot of time in bowling alleys.
Were you a professional bowler?
No, I used to date a professional bowler.
Oh, what was his name? It had to have one syllable.
Yes, it did have one syllable.
Right.
Thank you very much.
Can I guess?
You could guess.
Bob.
It wasn't Bob.
Tom.
Bob was my dad's name.
Oh, right.
No, it wasn't Tom.
Right. Mitch.
Dukey, it wasn't Mitch. I'm exasperated.
John.
No, but that's a good guess. You're close. You're like one consonant off.
Dan.
Oh my God, Dukey, you're like one consonant off. It was Ron.
Brilliant. Is there something about having skill in the, bowling arena and reducing your first name to one syllable.
It must be. I'm trying to think of okay, so one of the guys he used to go bowling with was called Zane.
Zane.
Oh, and yes, there was another guy on his team called Bob.
Right.
Now that I remember it. So it was Bob and Zane and Ron.
Do they add nicknames, like multi-syllable nicknames to make up for it? I'm just thinking, I know in boxing this kind of thing exists, but in the bowling world, of which I'm not an expert, and if you're listening to this and you're into it, I apologise for my ignorance on this front, but is it a bit like, and, in lane 7, it's Ron Boom Boom Johnson?
I sort of suggested that to him. Yes, maybe. I don't think they did that kind of thing. I think they took it really seriously. Well, I know they took it really seriously because I was there.
It is a competitive sport, after all.
It was very competitive. And, I only really went for because I wasn't a rock wife, I was a bowling wife at the time. And
so instead of musical gear, it was just loads and loads of different balls and
yes, you had
ointments.
You had to watch while he polished his balls. And, let's get that euphemism in there.
And also, dare I say, when you're a professional bowler, do you have your own shoes, or do you still hire?
Gosh, yes, Dukey, the Paris the Thaw. Of course you have your own shoes.
Right.
Yeah, so his bedroom, he had a lot of balls in his bedroom.
Right.
So because you use different balls for different times.
Right.
Like golfing, you use different clubs.
So I plan on winning this one with many a strike. I'm going to use the marble blue special.
Yes, the marble blue special.
Yes.
So as you can imagine.
Is that convincing bowling terminology?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Right.
I mean, I didn't really get too involved. I used to like to go for the food.
Right.
Because at the time I wasn't veggie, so the options were limitless. So I used to like to go, it would be like under the pretense of supporting him, but really I just wanted chili cheese fries,
right,
and a hot dog.
The experience at the weekend was not my first time performing at a bowling alley. I have done it once before.
Have you?
I was touring the Americas, and we were playing in New Jersey.
Yes.
At Asbury Park, and played a venue called Asbury Lanes, which is a late 50s or early 1960s bowling alley.
Right.
And you actually performed, or we actually performed, on the lanes themselves.
Oh, gosh.
They cordoned off.
Did you have to wear special shoes?
No.
Because they don't like having their floors scuffed.
Oh, no, they covered it. There was like follow the red carpet.
I gotcha.
And so we performed on the lanes, and then on either side of the stage, people were doing their business and trying to get strikes in. And
you must have to have incredible powers of concentration as a musician to do that.
Be
to
performing
play
and then look at...
Yeah, because bowling's noisy.
Yeah, but so's a power trio.
So is rock and roll.
Yes.
I gotcha.
And then when we arrived at the venue, the manager for the evening just said, "Oh, you might want to hold off on loading your gear in. They're doing a photo session in there." And then we arrived and saw a woman, legs akimbo, lingerie galore, on top of the counter where food is normally served.
Where food is served?
Yes.
Dukey, I'm speechless. Yeah, I'm kind of speechless.
And she looked as though she would be from a specialist kind of area. She was highly tattooed. Looked a bit psychobilly in terms of her
I was going to
look.
say, what's sexy about a bowling alley? But yeah, I guess if you're in that world.
She was rocking a scantily clad psychobilly aesthetic, and her being in a 1950s, 1960s American diner, bowling alley diner.
Yes,
backdrop, it worked well.
That. I don't get the legs akimbo on the counter.
I'm genuinely not exaggerating.
You know that I want to be putting my vagina down on a bowling counter because there's a lot of shoes that are passing over that. I mean, I wouldn't. I'm sounding like a real germaphobe, which I'm not.
It wasn't the counter where the shoes are served. It was the counter where the food.
Oh yeah, you said it was food.
Yeah.
I think I'd want to be keeping my vagina clear of other people's food.
I mean, as for my own Todger meat and two veg, if you will,
Yes.
I'd happily place them on any counter. But there's an interesting twist to this tale. We were provided with, free food that evening as part of our fee for performing at the Lanes in Asbury Park.
Did you have chili cheese fries?
I don't think so. I didn't
Okay.
realise
Oh, what
how
a shame.
wonderful they
You
were.
must have had a hot dog.
I had something different from the rest of the lads, and the reason why I remember that is I got the worst case of food poisoning I have ever had.
Dukey.
I had 5 days of producing the kind of output that could easily make its way through the eye of a needle.
Yeah, I'm not sure I'm trusting the food at the bowling alley.
I mean, maybe it had something to do with the psychobilly girl's vagina having been on the counter earlier.
Dukey. Maybe she had something in her vagina.
Quite possibly.
Well, let's hope that she didn't catch anything in her vagina from your hot dog.
It was a different order. The photo
Okay.
session took place. Then later on that evening, I presume some kind of cleaning took place.
I hope
Both
so.
of her vagina and the counter. I had some food, and honestly, 4-5 days, we had to
Dukey.
perform in New York for a show that went out on the Fox network, and I was nearing collapse. And I remember when we were interviewed, our drummer made reference to it. Tell us the name of your band, your names, and where you're from. And a wonderful drummer, dear friend of mine, Welsh is his name, just pointed to me and said, "Oh, he's got diarrhea."
Oh, Dukey. Well, let's be honest here. If you're on the Fox network, you really do want to shit all over their set, though, don't you?
True, the actual program that we were on, Fearless Music, it's no longer with us, but it had been on the air in syndication across the Americas for, about maybe 7 years or so. Was a very fine program made by really lovely, lovely people. Jamie Lamb, love your work.
I hope they've gone on to another network.
Yeah, I don't know what's happened there.
Well, see, that's the thing, Dukey. When we went to your bowling alley gig, it was just so interesting to me because back me up, Marcia. And Dukey, you know this too, that the bowling alleys in the United States do not have a posh or fancy vibe to them.
No.
Which is, their very beauty. That, like the Big Lebowski, such was the theme the other night
Yes.
at your bowling alley gig. It's got that kind of, just basic, right?
Yes.
Cool, but basic.
Utilitarian.
Yeah.
You're here to
You're
roll
here to
some
bowl.
bowls.
Yeah. Whereas the bowling alley here is the first one I've ever been to in England. I was expecting, because sometimes American things don't always translate in this country. Just like, English things won't translate necessarily in the United States. So, people just kind of don't translate it very well. And I was kind of thinking it won't translate. But actually, wow, how posh was it?
Rather than being a naff interpretation
Yeah,
of all things American,
Yeah, no.
it was
It's one
possibly
of
the best bowling alleys
Yeah, it's
ever.
like, it's not just the best bowling, it's like the best business I've ever seen run in the UK. Because you know how I feel about like how businesses are run, like customer service and stuff like that. This one was really, really well run. It was really good. I mean, it's really cool. I mean, if you're in London and, go to Bloomsbury Lanes and go. Dukey, can you picture Sylvia sitting in a bowling alley with her professional bowler boyfriend? Can you picture that?
No.
Because I'm struggling.
The only image that immediately comes to mind is loud, one-syllable named people, shouting at things like, "Strike! Yes!" And, I don't know,
Yes,
Sylvia
there was
maybe
a lot of
reading the bell jar.
Oh my God, Dukey, were you there?
No. Nah.
You say that like you know. I mean, yeah, I was at university at the time.
Right.
So, and I just wanted to go, I had to go and I had to support my boyfriend, the way you do. And I wanted some chili cheese fries. But I just found the whole thing really boring. So I would just bring my homework with me and I would sit there and study. And yes, I was getting heavily into Sylvia Plath at the time because that's what you do at university when you're a woman.
The perfect accompaniment to a bowling alley experience.
Yeah, so, and I didn't, and, one of the girlfriends of the guys, I was friends with her. So, we'd sit there and chitty-chatty. But then, being a bowling alley groupie was really not my scene. It wasn't my scene, Dukey.
Did you partake in the sport yourself, and how were you?
I do know how to bowl. Yes, I did. He did teach me how to bowl, and he taught me really well. So I think that I could. Yeah, after he taught me what to do, I got pretty good. So, at least being a bowling alley groupie, at least you get that, because if you're a rock and roll groupie, you don't necessarily get better at an instrument. Well, a certain kind of instrument.
It depends on what instrument you're talking about. Yeah.
Like if I was like your groupie, which I kind of am, I don't necessarily know.
Podcast groupie.
Well, no, you're like rock and roll groupie.
Oh, right.
I wouldn't necessarily know how to play the bass. But with a bowling alley groupie, you learn how to bowl really well. And you get chili cheese fries.
That's a good combination. I mean, the catering in the music industry is it's a bit hit or miss, to be honest. Well, and it was definitely it was more shit and miss at the experience at Asbury Lanes. Although I must say, Asbury Lanes, brilliant venue. That was absolutely amazing. Thoroughly enjoyed the gig, and that was given the heritage treatment. It had recently been done up, and not just by the Legs Akimbo person.
I'm speechless again, Dukey. I just keep getting a visual.
Oh, so am I.
Yeah, I bet you are. I just get a visual on that food counter. I mean, that's not going to be good for anyone.
No. But, yeah. And I remember later that evening, we were befriended by two chaps that run, maybe they still are involved with it, High Life magazine.
Really? The smoking magazine?
Yes.
Okay.
One of them had a friend in the support band. And let's just say that this support band, lovely people they were not only readers of the magazine, but they were also, shall we say, aficionados of the subject matter.
Okay. Well, they must be super happy now that so many states have made it legal.
Indeed, yes. Things have changed in the last 9 years.
I got friends who want to rent an RV and like drive around the states and like, the states where it's legal.
Right.
And do like a tour.
Right.
And I don't know. I'm kind of offering to drive, but I'm not quite sure how that would, because I'm not really, I voted for it to be legal, so power to you. It just personally doesn't do a lot for me, so I don't really like it. So but it'd be fun. But would it? Would it be fun? I mean, you got a bunch of people toking in the back of your RV. I'm wondering whether that might not like just kind of be like you're kind of feeling like you're on your own.
I feel that the novelty would wear off quickly. The conversation might hit a wall prematurely.
Oh, yeah, that's a given.
And also, there would be fairly swift and, dare I say, borderline aggressive requests to find the nearest fast food emporium.
Yeah, see, that doesn't bother me. I mean, bring me to an Arby's, I am there, man.
There is an issue. Having toured the Americas with a band in a camper van, a larger RV, if you will, not all drive-through options are RV friendly, and sometimes finding parking can be a bit of a challenge.
Right. Okay. Well, that's a good tip. I don't know. Well,
and then if you've got stoned people in the back of your vehicle who, are aggressively wanting to have a burger.
Dukey, have you ever seen me drive by an Arby's? I get aggressive for a beef and cheddar. I'm
Right.
not lying. I don't have to be stoned to get aggressive for a beef and cheddar and some fucking curly fries. See, I'm swearing now because that's how strongly I feel.
Then how would you feel if you had fellow passengers who were equally as, shall we say, aggressive about their intention to have said Arby's?
Listen, I'll be driving that motherfucker right through the drive-thru whether they can cope with it or not.
Yeah.
I mean, have you had a beef and cheddar in your life?
Yes, I have.
They're nice, aren't? I mean, I know
they are
you
nice.
don't have them anymore, but let's face it, you'd be tempted, wouldn't you? You'd be tempted.
Yeah,
Dukey,
listen,
you could just say that they're vegan.
Yeah, there's a special vegan version.
If you're vegan and
that-
listening to this,
Yes.
please don't send me death threats. I'm just saying, it's a joke. But yeah, I used to like a beef and cheddar. I mean, they are nice. They are very nice. Maybe the three of us should go, but that would be kind of, defeat the purpose a little bit because the three of us aren't really into that.
No.
Nah, I'm more into my uplifts. Like, I'm sitting here with a large black Americano. I got an extra shot in it because I was having a little trouble with the waking. So,
Right. Well, later on, you're going to have a problem with the sleeping.
I think I might have a problem with the pooping.
Well, so did I after I had that meal at Asprey
only
Lanes.
because it makes you, it kind of gets things moving.
Oh,
I
right.
didn't know that ladies did that. Yeah, no, this lady does, believe me. Dukey,
Yes.
what else are we talking about?
I recently went to a wedding in which there...
Dukey?
Yes.
The build up to this has had me and Martha on the edge of our seats.
Really?
Because you keep saying that it's with a difference.
Yes.
So we've been at home trying to think about what this difference is. Like, was it a nudie wedding?
No.
It wasn't a nudie wedding.
No.
Okay,
no.
so
and
I lost that bet.
And before we go into gender participants in said ceremony, it doesn't involve
oh God,
anything.
I didn't think about that. That'd be boring.
Anything on that front of
Was it
interest?
a hand fast ceremony?
No. What is that?
I have a friend who, when she got married, she didn't have so much of a wedding as a hand fast.
Right.
It's kind of like a pagan thing.
Right.
Where you're out, I think they did it like out in the woods somewhere.
It sounds like my teenage years. Anyway,
That's
please.
funny. Okay, so it wasn't a hand fast. It wasn't like naked. Okay, me and Silva both lost our bets there.
No.
The fact that you go all giggly every time this comes up is really quite disconcerting.
I'm going to use a little bit of wordplay here to give you a hint, and you may be able to work it out from that.
I doubt it, but hit us.
Thanks, ye have little faith. This wedding had a furor problems.
It had a furor problem.
Yes, as in the furor.
Okay. It's another stretch, Dukey. I'm not going to lie to you.
Right.
It had it had something to do with Hitler?
Yes.
You went to a Hitler wedding?
Indirectly, yes.
You were at a Hitler. Were you playing at this wedding?
No.
You were playing.
I as a rule, do not play weddings.
Oh,
no.
you were there as a guest.
I was there as a guest. And...
You went to a Hitler wedding.
Well, no.
Were they Nazis? You went to a Nazi wedding. Were they white supremacists? Which is a word that's good for. It's a terrible word.
This
but
wedding
I like
this wedding took place in the UK. While some of the groom's family might be a little bit right wing, I wouldn't say that they are BNP, British National Party supporters, but some of their relations most definitely were all white, if you know what I mean. And
were they wearing like armbands or something?
no, it was far more subtle than that.
Oh, I should hope so.
And the wedding itself was a normal British wedding.
Who did you know at this? Why were you a guest at this wedding?
I am friends with the brother of the bride.
Oh, okay. So you want to maintain their anonymity, don't you?
Absolutely.
So should we call them
Certainly.
names?
Yes.
Let's give them names.
Let's see.
Let's be cool about it.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's say the bride's name is Kim.
Kim.
Okay. And your friend's name is Kanye.
Kanye. Right. Okay.
So you're friends with Kanye.
Yes.
You're very good friends with Kanye.
Certainly, this particular friend is a long-standing, very dear friend, hence why the anonymity is very important.
And it's his sister's wedding.
Correct.
His sister, Kim.
Yes.
And do you know the sister?
I have met her many times over the years, yes. I do know her. I'm not friends with her as such.
Oh, you look like maybe there's a history there.
Oh, there's a bit of history. We never dated. My word, no.
Oh, you don't like her?
She's a dynamic character, and
She's a dynamic character, Dukey. What is that? I mean, how diplomatic is that?
She is...
You don't like her?
very strong of personality.
Yeah, arguably you could say that about me, but, that doesn't mean I'm a dick. Is she a dick?
She resides on a different plateau to myself.
Wow, I don't even know. That doesn't even mean anything. You should become a politician.
I have a Moxie Moxington from a Dukey Radio Show podcast from a couple of years ago now.
Dukey.
It was a summer show, if memory serves.
All you have to do on this show is say the name Moxie Moxington, and we all go a bit gooey.
Now,
because we're all in love.
Moxie Moxington, also known as Ms. Moxie,
Ms. Moxie.
who is a dear friend, as well as a singer-songwriter who I used to collaborate musically with. I have worked with her. I've performed with her.
She's very talented.
She's really, really lovely. And
was she at this wedding?
she was not. But,
okay.
But she has a very quotable quote about the sister.
About Kim?
Yeah, about
Okay.
Kanye's sister.
Okay, yeah, which was...
Now, she never met her, didn't really know about her existence, but Kim is involved in the fashion industry.
Right.
And has many YouTube clip and
All right.
Wherever you can find videos, Kimberly has done them, and in which she really celebrates her yummy mummy life.
I gotcha.
And I showed some footage of one of her clips because Moxie likes Kanye very, very, very much. They get on
they
like
know
a house
each
on
other.
fire.
Okay, I got it.
And then when I went to the wedding, Moxie inquired, about, I didn't realize that, Kanye has a sister.
Right.
And I sent her a clip to one of the videos, one of the Yummy Mummy lifestyle clips. And Kim's very much into celebrating her yummy mumminess, her posh London house-ness.
Oh, I see. She's materialistic.
Absolutely, yes.
I gotcha.
And very much conveying the perfect family unit.
I gotcha.
While showcasing clothing accessories that are, shall we say, premium and very, very...
Like expensive.
Yes.
Okay.
And I sent her a clip of one of these videos.
Yes.
And Moxie's reaction was, "No way! Get out! She is not!" Meaning she's not Kanye's sister.
I see.
She didn't believe it.
Okay.
And then added, "She's horrible!"
Oh, I see.
Yes.
Okay.
Moxie had a very strong reaction. I realised that sounded a bit like Jeff from Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yeah, it does, Dukey.
Yeah.
It does. But it's also not a bad Ms. Moxie impression.
Yeah, it's in that family.
So
She's a dynamic character. Well, Kim is.
And she's getting married to...
Let's just call him Herman.
Okay. His name's Herman.
Yes.
And what does he do?
Herman is in the legal profession.
Okay. So, and...
But is... how can I summarize Herman? Harry Enfield's Tim Nice but dim character.
Yeah, I don't know that.
I
know it.
He's a posh person.
Yes.
And on the surface is, seems very, hello. I'm quite quite well educated, don't
He
you
is
know?
what it says in the title.
He's not the sharpest tool in the Nazi shed.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah. Like he's a nice guy, right? I mean, I don't really know it that well, but he's a nice guy, but if not very bright.
Indeed.
Oh, okay. I got you. Okay, Tim, nice, but dim.
Yes,
Dim
yeah.
meaning kind of stupid.
Yeah, he
Okay.
gives the impression of, I don't know his Herman's age. Herman would be late 20s, early 30s.
Okay.
The difficulty in placing his age is because he has the demeanor of a 13-year-old trying to, pretend to be an adult.
Oh, God. Okay. And he's a lawyer?
Yes.
Okay. And he's a Nazi.
Well, we'll come to that shortly.
Okay.
Now, Herman's father is, very British, very, hello.
Oh, like you.
And his mum's side of the family has Teutonic roots. And it transpired that Herman's mum's parents, they're able to speak German and Spanish fluently. Now, Sylvia, Marshall...
is that a thing?
Yeah, what would that...
Oh, I understand what that is. I understand what that is. So... from how I understand it, a lot of the Nazis fled Germany and went to Argentina.
Bingo!
Is that right?
Correct.
Because they got diplomatic immunity. They got some kind of immunity or something, right?
Yeah, and to cut a long story short...
Ah, gotcha!
The Nazis who moved there... And you'll soon discover Nazi is genuinely not an exaggeration here, but put a pin on that particular little tidbit of information. We'll return to it.
You're German, and you speak German and fluent Spanish. That's gonna send up a few question marks over your head,
Correct.
Right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'm kind of stupid with this history stuff, so I gotcha. I'm not very good with this stuff either, but I did know that if you're German and you speak Spanish, that might be something that just...
And of a certain generation.
And of a certain generation,
certainly.
obviously.
Listen, if you're German and you can speak Spanish due to visiting Spain or traveling through South America
Of course.
regularly, it's brilliant.
It's only if you were born in like 1900 or something like that.
If you were around in Germany, 1933 to 1945, and then your family, for various reasons, emigrates to Argentina, it wouldn't just specifically be to, establish a new vineyard to carry on the amazing German tradition of wines. in the wonderful climes.
We went on holiday and we
Argentina.
loved it so much that we stayed.
Indeed.
Yeah. Okay. So.
Yes.
Let's go back. Herman the
groom's...
His grandparents.
Yes.
It transpires.
Yes.
Are German and they speak fluent Spanish.
And German.
And they're in their late 80s.
Yeah. Oh, possibly older. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Whether or not they're still even with us is a mystery.
They weren't at the wedding.
Well, they kind of were.
Okay.
They kind of were.
Okay, so
they weren't there in body, but they were there in photograph.
Okay, they had pictures
Form.
of their like ancestors round.
On top of the piano.
Right.
And notice the way I just said piano, because it features later on in this program.
Okay, that's weird.
In a new segment called
I
Stretch
know.
That
Okay,
Rhyme.
yeah, I know.
On top of the piano, the groom and the bride's families had photos of weddings, from relations spanning generations.
Gotcha.
And there were some lovely, lovely photos on display.
I hope so.
For many a couple, the happiest day of their lives.
I very much hope so.
A lot of women wearing white.
Yes, you would think so.
A lot of men wearing black and looking dapper.
Yes.
But one photo stood out from the rest.
Oh, God, really? Okay, so I take it this is Herman's grandparents.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Mum's side.
Yeah.
He was wearing An SS uniform.
No way.
The full kit.
No, see, I sound like Moxie now. No way.
Yes.
Dukey, they had photographs of Nazis at their wedding.
Yes.
They were wearing like the armbands.
It was the whole kit.
They were wearing swastikas?
Yes. And the SS logo.
Okay, I think we just need to unpick this a little bit, right?
Next to lovely photos of, there's, Emily and Jonathan's wedding in Dorset in 1950.
Let's unpack
They look
that.
great.
Okay, so I haven't been married, so I don't know what it's like, but I assume that there has to come a point where the bride and the groom and maybe somebody's mom, right? Probably the bride's mom, right? And maybe the groom's mom. Probably. Not sexist stereotyping, but probably the moms are sitting down going through some pictures. And somebody has said, wouldn't it be nice was it the reception, right?
Yes.
Wouldn't it be nice at the reception to have pictures of Auntie Marie and Uncle Bob around?
Is that Bob the Bowler?
Yeah, maybe. Around at the reception, wouldn't that be nice? And somebody else has to go, yeah, that's a good idea. So then, they have to sit around a table and they have to get out all the family pics.
Yes.
And then, okay, so they're going, there's Marie and Bob. There's Eunice.
Oh, she was so beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, what a dashing lad.
Yeah,
Looked
yeah.
like a young, Robert Mitchum.
Yeah. And maybe, like the bride's mom gets a little tear in her eye over great Auntie Agnes.
Oh, it's a shame what happened to Agnes.
Yeah, and then there was Uncle Hoodley Fluden, who is, from Sweden, and isn't it a shame what happened to him? That terrible yodeling accident that he had.
Oh, look at Duncan. Did you know he got a gold medal in the blah blah Olympics? And that was the first time that, Team GB got a gold medal in that particular sport. He was a hero.
A yodeling accident? Yeah, he ruptured his pancreas. Okay. I'm just making that clear. So yes.
Well, he's Swedish and engaged in yodeling.
Yeah, I don't really know how that all.
Okay.
It's two countries that start with SW.
Yeah,
you know where Sylv and I sit on the knowledge-o-meter of geography. We sit down real low. That's so very true.
You can be Swedish and a Swiss-phile and therefore into yodeling. It's not an impossibility.
So I'm there. I'm around this table.
Yes.
With all of these pictures.
Correct.
And then the picture of Adolf and Eva comes out.
Yes.
Yeah, that's it. So, and somebody had to look at that, right? So presumably the groom's mom had this in her hand and said, oh, look, there's my grandparents, Adolf and Eva, and don't they look dapper in their uniforms? This'll be great at the reception. Let's stick a frame around that bad boy and put it on the piano.
Absolutely, yes.
And none of the other people sitting around this table said, no, now let's think about this particular photograph. Somebody had to, they just let that pass.
I mean, there's no denying the fact that the SS uniform is a mighty, smart, well-designed piece of tailoring. But
well, yes,
it does have some associations. Now, it's really
got
important.
Associations.
It's really important. I need to preface, the conversation that we're about to have with. Listen, I have toured Germany. I have many German friends. I've had a fantastic time on tour there. My Volvo has been up and down the Autobahn. And I was saying to Kanye, on a personal level, I could be playing in, Munich. I could be performing in Frankfurt. I could be doing a gig in Berlin, having a chat with, Michael, the sound guy, who's fab, loves his post-punk music. We could have a wonderful chat about Gang of Four.
You love the Mustard Museum there.
Oh, yes, in Cologne.
Is that in Germany?
Yes.
Because it sounds so French.
It is a border city. Yeah, the Mustard Museum. Anyway, I could be having a chat with, some German musicians, and now I know that they know that I know that in the family there are some uniforms, right? War is hell.
There
War
are
is
uniforms.
a bad thing. Yes.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I've got Girl Scout uniforms in my history, but I think you mean a specific. Dukey, really, please go into politics. Seriously, that is the most diplomatic way of saying there's Nazis in your family.
Yes, and to be fair, even the access of evil requires administrators and somebody to pick up the phone. War is hell, and a lot of people who might not have actually subscribed to the whole ideology, right? And that's in the past. It's a whole new generation.
Goring's secretary has just written her memoirs.
He's such a good-looking man.
Well, I haven't read it, so I can't really say. From the reviews, it sounds like there's a bit of that, and there's an awful lot apparently of I had no idea what was going on. So take that for what you will.
Well, absolutely. So I'm being measured about it. Genuinely, it's just war is hell. The war is over. Let's move on. However,
war is hell.
Yes.
Right.
War, it's not very nice.
Well, the
war,
fact is...
What is it good for? Well, good banter on the Dukey Radio Show.
It's the fact that it's just a picture. We could sit here for a long time and talk about how Germans are wonderful. And of course, like anywhere else, there's wonderful Germans and there's Germans, even if you've got uniforms in your family, that's not your fault. You can't help it. Somebody had to okay that picture.
Yes. Now, on a personal level, had I been making the decision in terms of the photograph, celebrating weddings, in the past.
Yeah, you would have ixnayed that.
I would have used the whole, it was wartime, photos from that time aren't great, but here's a great photo of them as a couple in civilian gear.
Yeah, find another picture for God's sake. Or, hey, we really wish, they could be with us. And there were some people living in Germany who did have to wear the uniform because otherwise they would have been arrested.
Oh, certainly. I realized that if it was a difficult time.
One girlie, she was German. She wasn't Jewish. So she was made to join the Hitler Youth Movement. Otherwise, you'd be seen to be a dissident and they'd come for you. So I love what she did because when they had to go away to these Hitler Youth places. You can see that I'm trying not to say the word camp because it's a different kind of camp. So she had to go on these youth away kind of things where they had to stay overnight and stuff like that. And you had to have Hitler on your wall. You had to have a picture of Hitler on your wall. So she hung it over her bed. And somebody said to her, "Why do you have it there?" And she said, "It's the only place where I don't have to look at it."
Well, it depends on what position you eventually take. Anyway, yes,
So there, I'm giving these people the benefit of the doubt.
Oh, certainly, yes.
It's still not a good look.
Well, no, in 2018...
I've been to some weird weddings in my time, man, but I have never... Yeah, I would have been in... Were you in hysterics, Dukey? You must have been pissing yourself.
I had to resist every urge to have a photograph taken of myself.
I'll bet you did. I bet you harnessed every screed of willpower. So how did it play out? You know what I bet? Because I've seen you and Kanye together and how kind of giggly, 13-year-old schoolboys you become. Did he drag you over to this picture?
Yes.
Or did you both somebody's mobile's going on? Or did you both happen upon it together? And then hilarity ensued. You might want to turn off your phone.
Weirdly and coincidentally, that is genuinely Kanye.
Oh, is that Kanye messaging you?
Yes.
It's like he knows.
He knows we're having the Nazi chat.
How did you happen upon this pic? I take it Kanye didn't know he was going to be there either.
No, he found out at the same time as I did.
As you did?
Yes.
Okay, so how did you happen?
He arrived at the reception a little bit before myself. And,
Because it's his sister.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then he was looking out for me arriving to the display area. And when I was...
And he watched you.
Yes. And...
He must have been crossing his legs, trying not to pee, laughing, waiting to see the expression on
and
your face.
he's asked, because they're great photos, aren't they? Is there anyone in particular that you like more than the others?
Wow, Dukey. Wow.
And
did you kind of have to go looking for it? Or was it obvious?
Oh, no, it was...
Or did it stand out? So they stood out in their Nazi uniform.
Oh, it stood out.
So they...
It was the only couple in which, well, they were Nazis.
Because I wasn't sure, sometimes you get family pics where there's a lot of people in the picture, right? Like, it's a wedding from 1945, and, you had everybody in the picture, and you might have to go looking to find great Uncle Adolf, right? But these, were they the only two people in the picture?
Yes, yeah. This just featured the couple.
Just the couple.
Yeah. The photos in general were just of the couples.
In their Nazi uniform.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, so was it their wedding picture?
Yes.
They got married in their Nazi uniforms, and this picture was at somebody's wedding.
Yes.
It gets worse.
Yes.
Wow. I just can't. So Herman the lawyer.
Yes.
Right? Because let's just unravel just a little bit. So a little while ago, you said that some people at this wedding might have been a little on the right.
Yes, but by being on the right, they were, Tories and...
What newspaper does
friends.
he read, do you think?
This would be very much a Daily Telegraph.
He's a telegraph reader.
Yes.
See, the thing that fascinates me about when I came to this country was that newspapers are so affiliated with different political... So you can tell where people's political alliances are just by the newspaper they read. I guess you can do that in any country, though, can't you?
Yes, it's probably more defined here, although I feel that's been diluted quite a bit in terms of recent politics anyway, yeah.
I do like Catelyn Moran, who writes for The Times.
Yeah, it's always going to be, I...
And I read Giles Corran just to
I like Wagner's music, so...
Okay, yes. I do read Giles Corran just to get myself into a blind rage.
And they both write for The Times.
Did I tell you I once worked for a Jewish concern, and they told me that I could under no circumstances mention Wagner.
Right.
And I was thinking, I'm doing employability skills. So I'm talking to these women, these Orthodox Jewish women, about interview skills and like CVs or resumes and things like that. I can't imagine where Wagner would come into that. I can't imagine in a million years. You've got Valkyrie on your CV.
Just trying to, that's a challenge to bring in the conversation. I know how you can make it work.
Yes.
Finding a job, it feels like you're at war. And just the other night, I was watching Apocalypse Now. And, love the smell of Agent Orange in the morning. And that song, the music from that film is incredible. What is it? Wagner, Flight of the what?
Oh, wow. Dukey, that would have been, I don't even know. So when they told me, under no circumstances will you mention Wagner, I was like, I wouldn't mention Wagner ever in my normal everyday chat. I can't imagine. But, once somebody plants that idea in your head, then I went along to work with these lovely women, and I was like, don't say Wagner, don't say Wagner, don't say Wagner. So that's all I could think about.
Back in the day, I was a huge fan of Heart to Heart. And that's Stephanie Powell. She was great, as well as Robert Wagner.
That's what it started being like. Anyway, so it's just... So we were talking about Herman. And you think that he would... So people need to know who don't live in the UK. Like, if you read the Telegraph, that means you're very, very conservative.
Yes.
Very conservative.
It doesn't necessarily mean that you want to put those non-white people,
not at all.
in a boat.
It just means it's a very conservative newspaper.
Yes.
And the Times is quite conservative, but they do have a lot of people writing for them who aren't very conservative at all. Like Catelyn Moran, she's like practically a hippie. And then you have like The Guardian,
Yes.
And that's quite lefty.
Yeah.
Lefty. That's super lefty.
Yeah.
I think.
Not super. I mean, obviously,
Yes,
socialist worker.
I've
then
got
you know,
some
you're...
friends on Facebook who think that The Guardian is practically, like a conservative Tory Republican newspaper.
Yeah, indeed.
And I'm like, well, you're reading the Daily Worker.
Yes.
So, yeah, it's all relative.
Absolutely.
So, Herman.
Yes. Jawohl.
Do you think he's a Nazi, Dukey?
No, I don't think he's a Nazi. But let's just say they could have chosen a different photo of Grandpa Adolf and Grandmom, Eva.
Well, that assumes that they have other pictures. Because, back then, they weren't of a generation like we are now, where you have 1 million pictures of yourself and your family. Well, back then, you might have just a few photos.
I think this particular person was a fairly senior ranking...
Senior ranking?
Yes.
Wow.
Officer.
It gets worse.
And usually with senior ranking officers, because they represented the ultimate in Aryan power and prospects, other photos would have been taken.
Okay, all right.
For instance, it would be a celebration of health and vitality. So there'd be photos of them at sporting events and things, couples.
Good grief.
To inspire other people, to keep the whole, kind of Aryan bloodline pure and thriving.
So, did you go to the ceremony or just the reception?
Oh, I went to both.
Okay.
Yes. The ceremony took place in English, incidentally, and... it was,
I figured.
Yes.
Did they play Wagner at the ceremony?
No, it was a very British ceremony.
I really want it to get like a whole lot worse. So, but there was no other Nazi, you didn't see people like giving the Heil Hitler.
No.
Okay.
At least not at the ceremony I went to.
Wow, that would have been something else. So your friend Kanye.
Yes.
What are his feelings?
He agrees that it's a fine-looking uniform. I believe designed by Hugo Boss.
Okay, all right.
And
wow.
We had a conversation not dissimilar to what we've had here, subsequently. And we both agree it was, maybe ill-advised to have that particular...
I think
fly in the ointment of loveliness.
That's a beautiful phrase, is ill-advised. I keep reading about people from history, that people who I admire, and finding out that they were Nazis. And I don't like that. Did you know Coco Chanel was a Nazi?
Yes, this is a recent
finding. I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was in the bookstore the other day, and I saw these books that are for young girls to about all different. You can kind of get different books for different illustrious women from history to teach young girls about, to give them role models for, feminism and stuff. So like one of the books was about Rosa Parks. Because that's a good role model. And one of them was Coco Chanel. And I was thinking, I don't know that I'd want to buy that for my daughter now that I know that she's a Nazi. I mean, like a Nazi. Not like just read the Telegraph, and we're going to use some hyperbole. She was a Nazi. Dukey.
Yes.
And Martha. I went to a funeral a couple of years ago of the sister of a good friend of mine. And sadly, I had only met her for the first time about 6 months before she passed away. I met her at my friend's birthday party, and I spoke to her. We really bonded over dogs because she said that she loved her dog a little bit too much, and I love dogs a little bit too much. So we really bonded. She was absolutely lovely. And then I heard that she passed away unexpectedly, which was really sad. So I went to the funeral and to support my friend, and because I'd met her and thought, oh, she's so lovely, I wish she was my sister. So I'm sitting there at the funeral and I'm looking around and there's like a whole group of people, like 20 people, and I noticed that they're wearing like these pins in their lapels.
Right.
So I thought, oh, okay, that's strange. Like maybe it's some club that she belonged to or something. And I looked a little closer, and they were the Union Jack.
Oh, right. Ex-services maybe?
Yeah, so I thought maybe, I didn't really know much about her.
Patriotic.
Yeah, so I thought maybe, she's just a really patriotic person, or maybe she was ex-military. My friend never mentioned that, but I thought, oh, okay. And then they brought out her coffin.
Right.
And it was draped in the Union Jack, too. And I thought, well...
Was she ex-military?
Well, no. So then it kind of dawned on me. They were BNP people.
Right wing.
And she was a BNP person.
Right. Oh, dear.
And all of a sudden, I got really uncomfortable. Because, it causes your brain to go all jingly. Because I just remember sitting next to her and talking about dogs, and she was so lovely. Why are Nazis always dog lovers? Doesn't that bug you guys as like dog lovers? Doesn't that bug you? Whenever you get a Nazi, you always get a dog next to him.
I love
It does bother me.
Love Wagner's music.
It does bother me. Doesn't that bother you, Dukey? Especially having the bulldog always seems to coincide with like the BMP. I just think bulldogs are so gorgeous and lovely.
Oh,
and they shouldn't
so
be
cute.
No dog should be associated with.
No.
So yes, this person who was so lovely, all of a sudden my brain, like when you're shifting in a car and you accidentally like go from fifth to second and it causes the whole big, and you think that the gearbox is actually going to drop out onto the road. That's what happened to my brain. And then after the ceremony, we had to kind of go outside and mix and mingle because we were waiting to go on to the next part. And I was waiting for my friend to come out so I could give him a hug and everything. And that was some awkward conversation.
I presume all the attendees at this ceremony were of a certain color.
Well, see, that's a good question because they weren't. Because my friend, he's super liberal. So, it's so funny how siblings can end up so different. He's super duper liberal. So, and he had lots of friends there. And, not all of them were white. And there was also a lot of gay people there because he's gay. And I don't know how the BNP people feel about gay people.
I mean, if you're white, British and gay, I suppose you're okay in terms of the BNP.
I don't think they are.
Right.
I don't think they are okay with the gay people. Because I remember reading about this guy not so long ago. He was a member of the BNP and he had to remain firmly in the closet because he said if I came out, they would bash my head in. And he has since come out and since, renounced those beliefs and stuff like that. So it was quite an interesting mix. And just like, well, how do you even imagine that? Like, I guess it's like the Mitford family. The Mitford, two of the Mitfords, like, were like Hitler groupies. And then like
such beautiful blue eyes.
Yes. And then like their other sister was like a proper communist, like full on, to the point where when she moved to the United States, McCarthy started going after her because she was such a communist. It's just, isn't it amazing how siblings can be so different?
Oh, certainly. I mean, all joking aside, it's you could have grandparents that had very, very different viewpoints to yourself. It doesn't pass through your blood, does it?
So I'm feeling kind of left out here because you went to a Nazi wedding, and Sylv, you went to a Nazi funeral, and what's next? The Hitler birthday party. So how was the wedding otherwise?
It was a little dull.
Was it?
But there's one thing that made it stand out.
Oh, they stood out.
Stretch that rhyme. Oh, so tricky, these words.
As you can tell from that jingle, this is a new segment. Yes, this is about awkward rhymes in music. Not so much that the rhymes are dodgy, but where words are, shall we say, mispronounced in order to fit the overall meter of the song.
That's what Irene was getting all her knickers in a twist, people say.
She was in a mood earlier on, oh my word.
Well, what are you going to do?
Yes.
Yeah, no, it's a good idea. So what do you got in mind?
We are going to feature 2 songs in each installment of Stretch That Rhyme.
Yeah.
And the 2 tracks that we are going to be featuring in this inaugural installment of Stretch That Rhyme are from the 80s as well as the 90s, and 2 very different tracks.
What's the first one?
The first one is the track which appeared to have upset Irene the most. It's from a Colchester-based band called Blur.
Yes.
Song 2.
She's got a point, though. What is that about?
Well, indeed, and the line that we have in mind is the following one.
I got my head checked by a jumbo jet.
I got my head checked by a jumbo jet. Yes.
I have a question about this.
Ask.
Have you been to New Orleans?
I have.
Okay.
Where are you going with this?
Well, the food, there's a certain food stuff, one particular food stuff that is particularly local to New Orleans.
Oh, gumbo.
See how you just pronounced that?
Gumbo.
No, you didn't pronounce it gumbo.
Gumbo.
Dukey, I
Yes.
got another question for you.
Hit me.
You know that Disney movie with the elephant? What is that called?
Dumbo.
Yeah, so it's not Dumbo,
No.
right?
No.
So I think I'm with, Irene. What is that? What is it? It's a stretch. Dukey, I've got another slight problem with that song.
Yes.
If a jumbo jet is that close to your head, you got problems.
Well, you would be violating the rules and regulations that airports have.
The health and safety people are going to be
Yeah, that
after
means
that
that
pilot's ass.
You would be on the runway, presumably.
Or your ass, yeah, depending on whose fault it is.
The landing strip.
That is a big problem. So yes, jumbo.
Jumbo. Yes. Sorry, I would really like to have some gumbo.
Some gumbo.
Yes.
Gumbo.
Love elephants. That Dumbo is something else.
I took my kid for the first time to see Dumbo. Yeah, it's not good enough. What's the second one, Dukey?
The next track is from the early 80s. Paul McCartney and Stevie Wonder
Oh, God.
and Ebony and Ivory.
Oh, what's the stretch?
Side by side on my piano keyboard. Oh Lord, why don't we?
Side by side on my piano keyboard.
Oh, my
Lord,
piano.
piano.
I thought that piano had 3 syllables. Apparently it only has 2.
Precisely, yeah. Well, it does now.
I find it a little bit more difficult to be partisan with this. Partisan? Is that the right word? Maybe not.
Partisan.
Partisan with this particular song because I hated it then. Didn't you say to me, Dukey, the other day, because this song came up, didn't you say to me they weren't even in the studio when they recorded this
No,
song?
they weren't in the same studio when they recorded it, and they were not even in the same studio when the promotional video was made. It was all done through the glories of green screen, blue screen, some kind of screen where you can then superimpose a backdrop.
Is it because the one who didn't write the lyrics just was so offended they thought, well, I'll do it, but I can't even look at you. You know, like when you get in a fight with a loved one and you just go, I can't even look at you right now. So maybe...
Well, one of them wouldn't be able to look.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Oh, God, sorry.
Yeah.
Well, maybe it was more like, I can't even be in the same room with you. You disgust me with your piano.
Now, I know that Stevie Wonder is a huge Paul McCartney fan. How can you not be?
Yeah, but who wrote the lyrics?
That's a good question. How much of a collaborative effort it is, I don't know. It feels like a Macca composition
McCartney to me.
I think it's a McCartney track that features Stevie Wonder. There's a really strange scene in this music promo where Macca points to Stevie Wonder in a way of urging him to then do the subsequent clapping part. as though Stevie is able to see the Liverpudlian-born musician giving direction in the first place.
Oh, I never even thought about that. Okay, that's not good.
Do you know the scene that I'm on about?
I can vaguely get it. I just hated it so much that if the video came on, I would just have to switch it off because the song is just it's sickening to me. It sickens me, Dukey.
It is not Macca's finest moment.
It's not his finest hour. It's just cloying is the word. I hated it then. I hate it now.
That's so bad it makes me want to join the Nazi party. In any case, I've got an idea.
Yes.
I'm a bit hungry.
Yeah.
I fancy going to a piano bar, getting some gumbo, and they've got a television in this place. I'm going to ask if I can bring my duvda and if they can play Dumbo.
Let's hit it.
It's time for Been and Gone, a coffee emporium review segment.
Shop that I felt like I had to frequent.
So you've been to this place loads?
No.
Oh.
So we haven't done this in a while, but it's about
been years.
It's about time we bring it back because
Been and Gone.
Anyone who listens to this show regularly knows that I like my coffee.
Yes.
I got one in my hand right now.
Yes, from Costa.
From there are other big, massive
certainly.
Corporate coffee chains. And all the chains, they got something wrong with them, right? And I'm not proud of supporting the big corporates. I just find the independents are always left wanting. Okay, so and I try to big them up when I find them, and when I think that they're doing a good job. It's just hard to find a place that does good coffee, that does big coffee, that does good service, and that has a comfortable atmosphere. Because that's why I frequent this particular chain, because it's big, the coffee, and it's a comfortable atmosphere, so you can sit there for a while. And is the coffee the best? Probably not, but it serves a purpose. So that's why I'm trying to big up the independents, right? Because to help assuage my guilt. So there's a new one. Maybe you've seen it around where we live, Dukey.
In the heart of Wapping.
In the heart of Wapping.
We live by the river. Never felt so alike. I like coffee.
I feel like I'm at the karaoke thing.
Yeah, in a way, yes.
Yeah, some of the singers did a good job.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So it's called Urban Baristas.
Right, so these are city-dwelling, bean-pushing mofos.
It's next to Wapping Station. So it's not the place that's a window in the wall across from the station. It's next to the station. And I was kind of excited because I saw the whole thing being built. And I thought, it's looking nice. So
is it going to be another estate agent? No, it is actually.
Yeah, it's not a real estate place. So and around here, it's like, wow, we all have to be grateful that it's just not another real estate office. So it's called Urban Baristas. I've been there a couple of times because I think that's what good critics do. You go a couple of times, right?
In order to gauge consistency.
Yeah. I'm struggling.
Right.
So, like these places usually are, it's kind of really hipster. And which means the seating is wanting it leaves my big butt wanting.
So they've opted for seating which is aesthetically impressive, but from a comfort level point of view, it's not so good. Yeah,
it's kind of that minimalist look where it looks like a kind of warehouse, but it's been done nicely. So I'm like, and it's, it's a cozy place. So, you're cheek by jowl with your fellow coffee drinkers, right? So I went in there and there's two hipsters behind the counter.
Bids.
Yeah. And which I don't have a problem with hipsters in and of them, whatever. And one guy is just, he can't serve me right away because he's cracking his back. Right? And he's doing it a lot. And he really needs me to know that his back's hurting. So, okay. So,
Charming.
So, and to the point where he has to go into the other room that you can still see into just to crack his back. So then the other guy, Mr. Hipster, goes, what do you want? So I go, and there they call it a long black. So I go, can I get a long black? Right?
Sounds racist somehow.
Or celebratory, of, I don't know what, of coffee that's black. Okay? I like it black. I don't want it, I want it unsullied, in other words, by dairy or sugar. So, not that dairy and sugar is a bad thing. I'm just saying. I don't want it in my coffee.
Right.
So, he hits me up. And I ordered a pan of chocolate.
Right.
Right? Which is a chocolate croissant. Okay?
Square shaped, yes, as a rule.
And I go to pay for it, and I got my debit card, right? And he hands me.
There are other forms of payment.
There are other forms of payment, and I've never seen anything like this machine before in my life. So already I'm feeling pretty old, okay, with these hipster guys, and
You're 29 years old and you're feeling ancient.
Yeah. I'm feeling like, because I look at this machine and I go, and it goes, insert your card, and I'm like, oh God, there's no place to insert it. So he has to show me how to use the machine. So I'm already feeling like a grandma, like I don't know how to deal with these technological gadgets, right? I don't know how to do that. So, and then he shows me how to use it. And then Mr. Backcracker comes back to make my coffee. But he hasn't finished making the latte that came before me. That's to stay there, right? So, and I noticed he's somehow managed to draw a little heart in the foam. And I don't know why that would be, but he did.
Well, Valentine's was not that long ago.
Yeah, but it was long enough ago to not, and I don't want a heart, So, and then he starts banging it on the counter, the coffee cup. And I'm like, I guess they have to do that for some reason to get the bubbles out. But he does it so many times that I'm like, surely it's done. Okay? It's done. So, and then he makes my coffee, and they don't put the lids on. Yeah, you have to put the lid on yourself. And I can't find a lid. Right? So I'm putting a lid on this.
Wait, I thought by default, they put the lids on.
Because they let you put your milk and your whatever in.
Right.
Right? If you want that.
You can customize your beverage.
So, and then you have to choose a lid from like 38 different sizes of lid. And so all of a sudden I turned into Goldilocks of the coffee lid world. So this one's too big, that one's, and when you feel kind of stupid, like this one's obviously too small, but you got to put it on anyway. And I'm like, oh God, now I'm feeling stupid again. So, and I'm like, you know what? I'm never coming here again because I feel old and I feel stupid. Okay. The guys behind the counter, they were fine, but I feel old and stupid. So I'm like, I can't find a lid. I can't use the machine. And, I don't want you banging the coffee on the counter. And so, I'm thinking, you know what? I can't be dealing with this independent thing. Right? I can't deal with it. And then I took a sip of the coffee. Yeah. That might have changed my mind.
Oh, so despite the hipster service.
Yeah.
Despite the discomfort levels.
Yeah.
Despite being felt to be, shall we say, not at the forefront of technological innovation. No. Their product is really, really good.
Yeah. So,
And how was the pan au chocolat?
It was nice. It was really nice. So,
right.
And I was getting the coffee to take away, but I had to sit for a while because they have to bang the coffee so many times. It takes forever. So I'm just, all of this is adding up. And then you take a sip of the coffee and you're like, yeah, okay, yeah, this is good stuff here.
Is it better than the corporate?
Oh God, yeah, by a mile.
Oh right, so
oh God, yeah.
Oh, so this isn't just a little bit better; it's significantly better.
It's significantly better, but the problem I have then is there's not enough of it.
Right.
So as you can see, since we started recording, we went out to get this coffee way before we started recording today.
Yes, yeah.
And I've still
a work in progress.
Yeah, I've still got it going on.
Yeah.
Because it's huge. You know, when I go to work, I get myself a large black in the morning. There's been times when I've got to like 4:30 and I still haven't finished it. It's ice cold, but that doesn't bother me. Okay. Whereas this one, it's like it's nice and it was gone in like 5 minutes.
Right.
So then I was like, well, what am I going to do with the rest of my morning?
Do they do other sizes that are comparable to?
No.
Right.
Because, they wouldn't be so undignified. Because, this is undignified, this huge cup of coffee. It is. I can see that. That just doesn't mean that I don't want it that big. So, urban baristas, go there. It's a nice atmosphere if you don't mind sitting on a wooden bench. Within a centimeter of your fellow coffee drinkers. And if you don't mind having your coffee be gone in 5 minutes, which is just a shame because if it tastes that good, you want it to last longer.
Oh, goodness, there's always a fly in the ointment.
Yeah, Dukey, it's conundrum.
There's been a lot of flies, there's been a lot of ointment mentioned this particular Dukey Radio Show.
But, I'd recommend them. The coffee was amazing. Yeah, Urban Baristas right next to Wapping Station and the Dukey Radio Show all live around the area, so keep your eye out.
Indeed, yes. You may even see us there complaining about the comfort levels and the size of the gorgeous and delicious beverages they produce.
Yeah, I'll be the one with the fat ass.
Well, that is indeed your lot. I canine believe it's New Year's already. Incidentally, a play on words about the fact that it's the year of the dog, and if we hear some tipping and tapping in the background, that is Molly the Sprolly, the Dukey Radio Show dog. We've covered Nazi weddings and awkward rhymes as well as urban baristas. It's been a fun-filled episode. I hope you've enjoyed it. My name is Dukey and I've been your host. Until next time, may the worst of tomorrow be the best of yesterday. Now it's time for me to go and fetch some gumbo while watching Dumbo and to try to not have my head checked by a jumbo jet. Thanks for listening. Oh, I think I need to pop my weasel now as well.
Half a pound of tuppenny rice, half a pound of treacle. That's the way the money goes. Pop goes the weasel.
Facebook. Click on your mouse to our Facebook page. Facebook. It's easy to find, it will not take an age. Facebook. www.facebook.com/. The Dukey Radio Show, the Dukey Radio Show. The thin white Dukey is right. Click your way to the Dukey Radio Show Facebook page. www.facebook.com/The Dukey Radio Show. The Dukey Radio Show, the Dukey Radio Show.